Yo, YouTube, what is up? Radar25 back here with my co-host, Funtamania, Michael.
What up, Marks? Best night in wrestling, Wednesday night.
Guys, we're back again. You know what time it is. It's another takeaway video. And last night, the Wednesday Night Wars, NXT and AEW, Dynamite. Guys, we're dropping 5 takeaways for these 2 shows. So let's get right into it. Before we do, I want to remind you guys to drop a like on this video and previous videos, hit the subscribe button if you're not subscrired, the notification bell so you guys aren't missing anything that drops. Also, follow me on Instagram, Twitter, Mixer, and Twitch where I live stream. All that'll pop on the screen, guys. Without further ado, let's jump right into the video. Our 5 takeaways from the Wednesday Night Wars NXT versus AEW. All right, guys, so AEW. We're going to start off with AEW Dynamite. Dynamite started off with the tag team title match. Kenny Omega and Hangman Page, the champions, taking on the Natural Nightmares, the team of QT Marshall and the Natural, Dustin Rhodes. Another good, solid tag team match. And they always make their matches feel big. When the title's on the line, they always make it feel like a big fight feel, the way the intros are and everything like that. So AEW is at the top of the list when it makes, making their stuff feel like, important, and there's stakes behind it. Page and Omega get the win here. Very solid match. Dustin Rhodes did take like a nasty, collision with Kenny in this match. He was kind of loopy a little bit, but he still managed to get through the match and put in a tremendous effort at that as well. You guys still got the issues between Ali and Brandy. Ali is dating QT Marshall and all that stuff like that. So maybe there's a rift going on there. We'll see what that leads to. But Kenny Omega and Hangman Page continue to stay tag team champions, and they will face either the team of the Best Friends or Les Sex Gods at Fyter Fest.
Yeah, and I just love the way AEW starts off their show. It's always like a high-impact match, about 20 minutes, 15 minutes. It's the way they start, get you excited. Not heavy promo like Raw or SmackDown. It's just too much promos. Yeah,
because that one of those shows always going to start off with a fucking promo.
15, 20-minute promo, and so sometimes even 30 minutes because they go promo to promo and then a match. It's just it's a lot.
Exactly. Guys, next thing on the show, and it is extremely interesting. They cut a vignette for a newcomer, a female wrestler, Anna Jay.
We've seen her before.
We've seen her from the state of Georgia. She's coming out, making her Dynamite return. And we're trying to find out who she's going to face. She ends up facing somebody that we've seen once before. It's her Dynamite debut, but she's seen her on Dark, AEW Dark, and it's somebody by the name of Abadon. Now, this was the craziest shit I've seen in a long time. Now,
that chick was crazy, man.
All right, so when it comes to freaky, creepy, crazy shit, now the last thing I saw that was creepy or I thought was kind of cool was Bray Wyatt's lantern when it was his face and it was stretched out, right? It's pretty creepy looking, but it's right? But this chick is on a whole other level. I thought I don't know, her teeth were jacked up, her eyes look crazy, that
that makeup, that thing, face paint, her eyes were even Jim Ross what the hell is this? What is he doing? She's crawling on the floor. It's some weird mutant character zombie thing.
I'll pop up.
I don't know.
I'll pop up the picture right now. I'll pop it up right now. But what this chick looks like, this is some crazy looking shit. I was enthralled by the entire thing. So I was like, this chick looks insane.
She's insane looking.
She destroyed Anna Jay. And then the Dark Order would come out and then give Colt Cabana, who was in the crowd, an envelope. And it was what it ended up being was, offer to join Brody Lee in a tag team match. I believe it's next week. So he will team up with Brody Lee next week. But they helped Anna Jay out of the ring. So I don't know. Maybe they get their first female,
and then she said on Twitter, thanks for the hand.
Thanks for the hand, help her out.
Yeah, so I think something like that's gonna happen where they need a female member. So,
but fuck
she is a good-looking girl, so I wouldn't mind having her on the team.
She's very pretty, very beautiful. But fuck that Abadon, that's some crazy.
Abadon is wild, man. She's like she's this era's Mick Foley. Mankind when he
crazy.
Wee type of thing.
Crazy look, guys. But next day on the show was a match: MJF versus Billy. Can't say Gunn. He came out with his 2 sons. Match was what it was. MJF gets the win, obviously cheating. But the big thing after this was that the brawl ensued outside of the ring. MJF, Jungle Boy brawling, Luchasaurus, Marco Stunt fighting Wardlow. Wardlow. So they started fighting. A lot going on there. Now next week, there's going to be a lumberjack match between Wardlow and Luchasaurus. Lumberjack matches they're never good. Let's see if AEW puts a different spin on it and makes it better. But we'll see what happens with that.
Yeah, but they've been building this for a while now. Warlord, Luchasaurus type of two big guys going to go at it.
We'll see what happens. Maybe do a tag team match at Fyter Fest, something like that.
Yeah.
Maybe another rematch between MJF and Jungle Boy. Their match at Double or Nothing was tremendous, so hopefully we'll get another one. Let's see what happens. With the Lumberjack match, I'm not super excited about because they usually suck, but let's see how AEW works their first
straight trash Lumberjacks.
Like pretty much their first ever Lumberjack match. Guys, next thing on the show, TNT Championship match. Cody versus a mystery opponent. Wasn't announced until the match who it was. Now, Cody, a few weeks back when he first started the TNT Championship tournament, he said it's open to anybody, even people who are not under contract with AEW. And that's what we got here. We got supposedly one of the hottest free agents, right? Ricky Starks, a former NWA television champion, has wrestled, all over North America in the independent scene, wrestled in Japan. He comes out, cuts a video promo, introducing himself. He comes out and has the match against Cody. Obviously, Cody gets the win here, retains, because he does have a big match at Fyter Fest against Jake Hager. But it was a good showing from Ricky Starks. We need to see more of him, more of the development of the character and him on TV.
Well, he's all elite now. He was signed last night, right after the match.
He was signed after the show, yeah.
I mean, he did have a fun. It was a good match, hard hitting. There was a moment where they were just wailing each other with rights and lefts. So like Mickey Ward, Arturo Gatti started right in the middle of the ring. I mean, it was a fun little showing for him. We'll see where this goes and see. They're building a big roster at the moment, and they only got one show. I mean, they have Dark, but that's a YouTube channel. But we'll see where this goes with mixing all these new faces and trying to make everybody relevant and in a storyline. So we'll see how this goes.
We'll see how it goes. But it's good to see another new guy, and we'll see how they build him in. Now they only have one TV show, like you said. I think this is all setting the groundwork for the second show that they want to give AEW.
Yeah.
I guess it'll be on TNT on a different night. So this is probably setting up the stage for that. Maybe more guys get more time to shine on the second show when and if it does come out. Guys, Next thing on the show, we're finally getting to our first takeaway of 5. It's takeaway number 1 of 5 for the Wednesday Night Wars. It was the match between the Young Bucks and the Super Bad Squad, which I think is a corny ass name.
That name sucks.
And it is the name for the team of Penelope Ford, Kip Sabian, and Jimmy Havoc. The match, you know what you're gonna get out of these guys in the ring. The Bucks
high spots.
Yeah, a lot going on. If you're not into that type, then you're not gonna like it. We're both open to it, so we like to see like the athleticism and stuff like that. But we also like to see a more grounded style like FTR. That's why I'm a bigger fan of FTR than I am of the Bucks. But
like the beauty about wrestling, it's always good to have all types of different match styles and guys who can do different things, because you want to see the different variety of everything. So I don't mind it at all. I like high flying. I like grounded. You want to have a good mix. Yeah, you want to have a good mix. You have a good mix of it.
So it keeps everybody entertained. It satiates everybody's appetite for different types of wrestling. So you know what you're going to get. So it was all over the place match. A lot of Butcher and the Blade interference or kind of distraction here because they were in the crowd. This is going to come into later. So the Young Bucks get the win here. And, good on them. They got the win. Obviously, they continue to build their way back up into title contention. Surprisingly, they haven't been champions already, but obviously
and they're like 5th in the rankings for tag team.
Yeah.
Well, they missed like 2 months with the pandemic.
I think also they're doing it because they want them to come from the bottom and work their way up, not just be like at the top already. Because people will be like, oh, they're booking themselves into the championship because they are part of like creative and upper management. But guys, the takeaway from this was that again, this is the third time in the last 4 weeks, Butcher and the Blade get involved with the Bucks, and here comes FTR as well. And they will not touch each other, and it seems like FTR keeps helping out the Bucks by fending off Sabian, Havoc, or the Butcher and the Blade. So that is what it is. Now I'm not sure. I mean, they keep like teasing it, and it's the same thing like to me 3 out of the 4 weeks. So I'm not sure how big of a fan I am of it. Because it's like, all right, get to it. Or do something else with it. Don't have them like keep staring at each other every week.
I think they're just gonna keep building and building and building like a slow burn. Like I don't even think at Fyter Fest they're gonna have a match. I think it's gonna just be like they're gonna have this thing where they're gonna be parallel to each other. They'll be doing their different things and they'll meet up again. And then until finally the dam breaks and they just you just got to do it. Yeah. I like that type of stuff. Because this is something that's been building for years now. With being the elite. And then being in WWE, and now they're just here. So let's just sit a little more and make people want it more and more and more. So that way it feels bigger once it actually happens.
Yeah, no, I understand. Like you want to you want to slow cook it all the way to like when it happens, but it's just like they keep staring each other down 3 of the last 4 weeks. You know what I'm saying?
I think it's all right. I think it's cool.
And I get they're showcasing the other tag teams involved. So like they're the Butcher Blade, Kip Sabian, and Jimmy Havoc giving a little bit of the rub off the Young Bucks and FTR, because they are probably without argument the top 2 tag teams in AEW, even if FTR in the world, even if FTR just got there, but their previous track record speaks for itself. Now FTR will take on the Natural Nightmares next week in a match. Should be interesting to see, but I think it might be Fyter Fest 8-man tag, Bucks and FTR versus Butcher and Blade against Super Bad Squad.
I mean, yeah, that sounds legit. I mean, those things are a fucking car wreck, and AEW style with the Bucks in there, I'm sure there'll be some crazy shit going on. But if
it's an 8-man tag, I feel like there'll be a lot of issues between FTR and the Bucks teaming together, because they don't want the spots, they don't want to do the high spots, they want to keep what they call real tag team wrestling. So I think that'd be a cool dynamic to have as an 8-man tag. You got FTR teaming with Young Bucks and issues being there as styles conflicting and how they see tag team wrestling each other. So, and
that's another good way to like slow burn it, where they're on a team together, they're not even facing each other, and just build that small spark to keep it going. I mean, I mean, once you think of it that way, it does open up so many different story that you can tell coming from that match. So I think it's a good idea as well.
If you're trying to hold them out to All Out, maybe to have these 2 teams face each other, I don't know if the right thing to do is continuously have them just stare at each other every week, or have a week in between, and the next week they're staring at each other again. So like, let's see how they work it from here on out. Yeah,
and like hopefully one of these teams is champion by then, which I think maybe the Bucks could win the belt, and then make that match even more important for the titles. I think it's adds that extra level. I think it has to be for the title. Yeah, I think that's why they haven't started off. I think that's why they haven't started off already. Just as soon as they showed up, just have a feud together. I think they're slow booking it, so one team wins the belt, and that way it makes the match that much more.
Yeah, until about September, I think, is when All Out is. Sometime in September. So you have, good 2.5 months to kind of work this out, get the titles maybe off of Kenny Omega and Adam Hangman Page, and get them on the Bucks or FTR, and then have that match at All Out, because it seems like All Out is going to be their WrestleMania type show. That's when they should have it. So let's see what goes on with that, guys. But that is takeaway number 1 of the Wednesday Night Wars. Next thing on the show, and it is let's get to this beforehand. The Brian Cage interview underneath that highway, like again, where we saw Lance Archer destroying some random luchador guy there one time a few weeks back. Our last Lance Archer sighting, real Lance Archer sighting. But yeah, it was Taz and Brian Cage cutting a promo, obviously talking about Jon Moxley. Brian Cage actually got some words out this time. He actually spoke for a little bit. I wasn't a fan of his promo.
Me either. I don't think it was good.
He tripped over a lot of his words, and some of it you couldn't understand. Like he was like slurring a little bit too much. Yeah. I think he was too excited and just trying to get everything out there. So let's see if he could clean that up for the next time we see him.
And he looked nuts. His broad daylight, dressed in his wrestling gear. I
don't know why he wasn't wearing regular clothes. Yeah,
just look like you imagine driving over the bridge. Like, who's a jacked ass dude in his underwear just chilling? It was really weird. The whole look just. It
was weird. Yeah, I'm not
wear like a jacket and like jeans.
You're gonna be in a remote location like that, just regular clothes.
Like do you expect people to leave you walk around the street dressed like a dumbass like that?
like in your tights? Makes no sense.
I mean, if I was that big, I'd probably walk around like that too when you really think about it.
Still, honestly. But guys, let's get to the next thing on the show, and it's takeaway number 2 of 5 for the Wednesday Night Wars, and it is the main event. It's for the number 1 contendership. Now, Best Friends had it already, but they're putting it up on the line now. Number 1 contendership for Fyter Fest against Hangman Page and Kenny Omega for tag team titles. It is the Best Friends versus Chris Jericho, Sammy Guevara, Les Sex Gods. So they're teaming, they're facing each other. This is a really fun match. It lasts about like 15 minutes or so. A lot going on here, a lot of fun going on here. Interesting that the Best Friends end up winning this match. Because like the Inner Circle it's not really stringing a lot of wins together, right? And Sammy Guevara obviously took the fall. It wasn't going to be Jericho taking the fall. It was Sammy Guevara taking the fall. So that happened. But the way it happened was kind of interesting, because Sammy Guevara bouncing off the rope gets tripped up by, looks like the cameraman who's there. And, announce team says like, he thinks he tripped over the wire or tripped over the camera or whatever, but he didn't. The cameraman ends up being Orange Cassidy.
Freshly squeezed, stick it in there.
Obviously, remember last week, he got beat up by the oranges, by, the blood oranges that Chris Jericho beat him up when he cut him open. So the real takeaway from this is not the Sex Gods losing, which kind of sucks. It is that they booked Fyter Fest. It'll be Orange Cassidy versus Le Champion Chris Jericho.
Yeah.
That's a huge match for Orange Cassidy. Huge. I mean, he's taking on probably not arguably, the number one guy in AEW.
And
Chris Jericho.
One of the all-time greats. Arguably top 5 greatest wrestler of all time. For Orange Cassidy to have that coming up, big for Orange Cassidy. Big time for Orange Cassidy. Hopefully he shows up and gives us, a hell of a match, which I think he will. But I kind of wanted the Sex Gods to win this match and go on and fight for the titles.
I would be so happy to see the Sex Gods tag team champions.
Yes, I think that needs to happen. I think that's an awesome. Then this was a perfect spot to even continue the whole Inner Circle versus Elite, beef. Just keep that going. I mean, I think they missed that there a little bit. I know they wanted to put this Orange Cassidy thing over, and they probably want to do Matt versus Sammy. So that's another match they're putting up out there. But it would have been really cool to see the Sex Gods as champs or just going for the title. It would have been pretty awesome.
Yeah, it would have been. But you're right. They obviously just wanted what they're booking. What they want to do is Matt, Sammy, and Orange Cassidy versus Chris Jericho, which doesn't happen. I'm assuming Matt and Sammy will happen at Fyter Fest as well. He hit Jericho with Superman punch as soon as he unveiled himself as being the cameraman. Obviously, he wasn't the cameraman the whole time because, as you know, in terms of production for TV, they're not gonna have a guy who's not a trained cameraman.
I mean, they could have had him there the whole time and just like not had his camera off and just had another guy out there. I think that's what they did because these guys. No,
I just think
maybe not because there isn't a crowd. I forgot there's a crowd.
They just swap them out. They just they move the camera, work around, then they have him swap out and do that. Because when he was after the match was over, he started walking up the ramp. And they cut away from him to show so it would kind of be somewhat a surprise that it was still him, but you could tell it was Orange Cassidy.
You could tell as soon as I saw it because I saw him fall and he walked through. I was like, oh, that's Cat. That's squeeze, gotta be.
But I mean, not say this was good. All of it was good. Yeah. I'm excited to see Chris Jericho and Orange Cassidy. But like we said, this is big for Orange Cassidy. This is huge.
But this is why Jericho's here is to make the elevate everyone. So every time somebody's in a match with him, some indie guy from a couple years ago.
I don't even think it's even when a match with him. Anybody that comes into contact
with Jericho,
or just confronts him on the mic or anywhere, immediately. Jericho's status just immediately.
I mean, he got Marvez over by calling him a fathead or such a fat ass head.
No, he said, "What do you have to say about that?" And he's like, "What do I have to say? You have a fat head, Marvez." Anybody that stands next to him or speaks to him or crosses by him, he's gonna get over. He immediately elevates him to a whole nother level. It's amazing. And it's a credit to Chris Jericho and at the point he's at in his career. And if you look at the totality of his entire career, he's arguably you could easily put him in the top 5 of any all-time guys. But that was NXT. I mean, that was AEW. I'm sorry. AEW Dynamite. Let's get to NXT now. We got 3 takeaways for NXT to round out the 5 for the Wednesday Night Wars. So let's jump right into NXT on USA. And guys, they started it off just like AEW started their show off with a tag team championship match.
It's like they knew. Do you think they knew? Like the one and the other was going to do this?
Now, there's a couple things in this show that really prove or show that WWE sees this as a competition, as a real war against AEW.
As much as they say that it's not.
As much as they say it doesn't, it's not. AEW less so. They don't really seem like they're in a war. They seem like kind of just they're having fun doing their own thing. WWE really seems like they're counter-programming a lot, right? So this takeaway number 3 of 5 of the Wednesday Night Wars and this NXT Tag Team Championship match: Imperium, Fabian Aichner, and Marcel Barthel. I always fuck up these guys' names.
Christ, guy. No one cares. They're their Imperium, and then they came out, and then here goes Breezango.
I get it right. Imperium, right. Marcel Barthel, and Fabian Aichner against Breezango, who came out mocking Imperium. They were Emporium, Fabio, and Marsupio. They came out dressed just like them. Fandango had a long blonde wig.
I don't know why. Because he's Fabio, guy. That's why.
Yeah, because he's Fabio. Yeah, they came out really, really funny stuff. But like they said in the video package they had last week, they're gonna keep the entertainment. But once the bell rings, it's a whole different story. They turn it up, and they did. They fought hard the whole match, and they almost won it a few times. And they only lost, right? So Imperium gets the win here to retain the tag team titles. The reason they lost was because because in this shirt came out Malcolm Bivens, and they came out to distract them. Then as they were coming out, here comes Oni Lorcan and Danny Burch fight in this shirt, and that was whole chaos. And then all of a sudden, Fandango gets rolled up and they lose the match. But they're showcasing the newer tag teams because Orkin, Burch, not a mainstay tag team, but we've seen them a few times, and they're really showing them off now by having them interfere in this. And in this shirt, skyrocket again, backed up to the title picture. Because they debuted taking out Matt Riddle, and then they were gone for a while. They came back at a squash, and now they're pretty much throwing themselves back into the title picture immediately.
One of the top tag teams in NXT. It was a fun match. Good. I said last week I wanted Breezango to win, and I was kind of upset that they didn't. They got me excited a few times. There's some close calls for a win there. But we'll see where this goes. I'm not a huge fan of this Imperium team. I don't really dig their vibe. I think without a Walter, they just feel kind of out of place for me anyway. But we'll definitely see where this goes.
I get what you're saying. I really enjoy their entrance. I really, really, really like the entrance and the theme song they have.
I like Breezango's better.
They come off as that, I don't know how to word this, but they come off very European,
yes, super European,
super European, very they come off very German to me, very strict, standing upright, great posture, big square jaws. And you're right.
Just very robotic, very like that German, just we're tactical. We're here to get the mission done. That's it.
Yeah, so they seem they come up. But I really enjoy their entrance, enjoy their theme music. But they do need Walter a little bit, kind of be like their Thanos behind the scenes, who's kind of just there. You know what I'm saying? The big imposing guy. You got to get through.
Or their Brody Lee.
Yeah, you got to get through all these guys to get to that guy, which is the last guy you want to get to. You know what I'm saying? In terms of in this shirt and Orny Lorcan and Danny Burch, I mean, Lorcan and Burch are very good technically in the ring and everything like that. Yeah. But personality-wise and coming all across like that, maybe not all there. In this shirt, they're very new. And, they're just two big-ass guys who don't know really how good they are in the ring. We've seen
they're the authors of pain, basically, but just without, the same look and the same – mean streak, everything. So we'll see where it goes.
But you see NXT counter programming their tag team division against AEW tag team division by showcasing all their guys here, and then also later on you would see an interview with the Velveteen Dream, and talking about his status now because obviously he can't face Adam Cole again. And Dexter Lumis creeps up behind them, drops a drawn picture because he's a tremendous artist, and it's a picture of Lumis. Dream holding the NXT Tag Team title. So let's see if Lumis and Dream, which is a tag team that, no lie, I will get behind 150%. Because I love both their gimmicks. And that's another thrown-in tag team.
Who would think both those gimmicks would make them come together? Those gimmicks can be any different than what they are. So it would be an interesting tag team to say the least.
It would be awesome to see the division grow if they add them. But I think there's another call to them counter-programming AEW and seeing it as a real war. They're seeing AEW is the place for tag team wrestling right now. And with what the Revival said, FTR now, what they said that, WWE doesn't care about tag teams and didn't feel like featured. They're really I can see them really pushing the envelope here in later weeks with the tag team division. But
I think so too.
Fuck, do I love Fandango, man, and Breezango. I love Breezango, that team. That's a good. I love that team. I really do. I really want to see them eventually win those tag team titles. But guys, next thing on the show, Damian Priest, who we saw show up in South Challenger and have Cameron Grimes kind of creep on him in the background. This will lead into later on. He took on Killian Dain. Priest gets the win here. But you would see later on, Priest come out. His car was, I think, scratched up. And that was...
no, it had a flat tire.
Flat tire, that's what it was. And then, Cameron Grimes was obviously the one who did it.
Okay, I'm going to call you Uber. And he just drives.
Now they have a match next week. Priest and Grimes, so we'll see where that goes. Next thing was Aliyah versus Xia Li. This was all about Robert Stone because he came out drunk as shit because, obviously he lost Chelsea Green, and Rhea Ripley didn't want anything to do with him either. So he's kind of rocking on with Aliyah. He was drunk. He threw up in the ring. This was kind of, it wasn't really good.
Dumb. No. And, hey, Aliyah got a win. Maybe her first win ever, for all I know.
Yeah, Aliyah. Yeah, she's been there forever.
Been there 30 years, so we'll see.
He gets a win here. We'll see where it goes to the Robert Stone brand after this. He has to get more people involved for him to take him anything other than just a joke at this point. Yep. We also saw Timothy Thatcher. He's doing like a wrestling school vignette thing where he's torturing the shit out of these new wrestlers and stuff like that. I don't know what is going to happen, but let's see what happens with this. Guys, next thing on the show, and it is takeaway number 4 of the Wednesday Night Wars. And this was some heavy hitter shit right here. This is another thing you see as to how they're counter programming AEW because of the 4 people they had in the ring at this one time. Adam Cole comes out. He talks about obviously who he called at first Killian Cross.
Yeah.
First it called Carrying about, Scarlett showing up with the hourglass last week. And, before this, he was talking in the backstage about it. Keith Lee walked up on him in the backstage during an interview and broke the hourglass, saying he was coming for the NXT title. Adam Cole in the ring talking about this. Keith Lee interrupts, talks about how he's coming for the NXT championship. He wants to have both belts. Then here comes Johnny Gargano. He comes out. Obviously, he has a claim to both titles as well. Then, I don't know, here comes Finn Balor. So you have in the ring right now Finn Balor, Keith Lee, Johnny Gargano, Adam Cole. Arguably, the number 4 top guys. The only thing you're missing pretty much is Tommaso Ciampa in NXT right now. All 4 guys in the ring, they're all talking shit to each other. Obviously, they all have claims to each title. Finn Balor said he's coming for the North American title, then he's coming for the NXT championship. So here comes William Regal, gets on the screen, says that next week will be a triple threat match for the North American title. Keith Lee, Johnny Gargano, Finn Balor. Winner of that, get this. Winner of that, whoever wins that is the North American champion, takes on Adam Cole. Winner take all. Both titles on the line. Champion versus champion. July 8th on NXT.
I wonder why.
Interesting date. Tell them why it's an interesting date.
Because that's the second night of Fyter Fest.
Yes, it
and
is.
then the first night of Fyter Fest, which is next week. No, is it next week? No, it's the following week.
2 weeks. Yeah.
2 weeks. So, yeah. So, I mean, the 8th being like, the main event, you're going to see title versus title, champion versus champion. I mean, they're trying to take all the spark away from AEW with that one. I mean, who's it going to be? If it's Balor versus Cole, I mean, Keith Lee versus Cole, Gargano versus Cole, all those matches you can't go wrong with. And I'm not sure if there's anything right now on AEW Dynamite that would be a bigger match than that match. So, title versus title, and with those names in there, I mean, I don't know.
It's pretty tough to beat. I
mean,
that's
is Mox Cage anywhere near those 2 matches? I don't think so.
I mean, like when all 4 guys, those are some fucking heavy hitters in the ring right there. That was crazy. I mean, yeah, they're really it's another, like, it's the second thing on the show where we really see them counter program AEW and seeing that they're really in a war against these guys, at least on their end, as they continue to lose week in and week out the ratings war. Now, there's just 4 big guys, and that winner take all match will take place while Fyter Fest is going on, and most likely, that second night will probably be Mox and Brian Cage, and the bigger matches may be saved for that second night. We'll see how that goes. But next week, if they don't win the ratings war next week with that triple threat, I'm not really sure what's going to win it for them.
I don't know. I mean, it's a different way of watching it because, you can just DVR them like a couple days after that.
They have those, like, whatever.
Yeah, like they have like those things into the ratings. But I don't know. I mean, I might do a little back and forth flipping. I don't know. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
But I'm excited. This is why it's the best night of wrestling. It just keeps it getting better, and you can tell the competition is getting more heated. And NXT knows that they got to step their shit up, and that's why they're throwing in guys like Charlotte, Finn, Sasha, and Bailey. Like, they need to get this up and people watching it. So
yeah,
see where it goes.
It's super interesting, and you'll get to see like somebody most likely hold both belts. Mine is like a screw job or clunky finish. You have a guy who will be NXT champion and North American champion at the same time. So super excited to see that, guys. So, but that is takeaway number 4. The next thing on the show was Dakota Kai with Raquel Gonzalez versus Kaden Carter with Casey Catanzaro. Kai gets the win. She's beat both of them pretty easy, so nothing to write home about here. Next thing on the show, Bronson Reed, Leon Ruff, squash match by Bronson Reed. Nothing to see here. The only thing about this, he calls out Karrion Kross after the match because Karrion Kross beat that ass a couple weeks ago. Next thing on the show. All right, guys. So we had Santos Escobar come out his first week. It's like officially Santos Escobar. He comes out, and again, I didn't know he spoke that well English. He speaks very, very tremendous English. He comes out, talks his thing. He gets interrupted by Drake Maverick, and then him and his 2 cronies lay out Drake Maverick, drops his ass through a table on the outside, and that's pretty much it. Setting up eventually, the rematch between Santos Escobar now against Drake Maverick for that cruiserweight title. Other than that, not much else to really write home about here. It'll be a continuation of this in the upcoming weeks leading up to their match. Eventually will happen. Guys, the next thing on the show, final takeaway number 5, and it's the main event women's tag team title match. It's defended for the first time on NXT. We got Sasha Banks and Bayley, the champions, versus Tegan Nox and our girl Shotzi Blackheart. Came out with the tank once again, killing it out there.
Shotzi.
It was a fun main event. Shotzi was all over the place.
She was flying. She was
flying all over the match. Yeah. The match was very, very good, solid match. Banks, Bayley, obviously you knew they were going to win. They're retaining. They're going to probably go on a bit of a run here, maybe going through all 3 shows. I hope they go through all 3 shows. But what happened after the match was that they both got attacked and obliterated by your new NXT Women's Champion, Io Shirai, which is pretty interesting because, as you were saying before, you were telling me off the air that you saw this as like NXT. They're doing this really asserting NXT as like not to be messed with.
Well, so basically, we all knew that they were going to lose Shotzi and Nox because literally they announced a match on Raw that the Iconics and Sasha and Bayley were having a match on Raw for the belt. So you got to knew they were going to pass it by and just have them on there. Now what's going on there is NXT has to look like it's like equal with the other brands. So if they put a team together and they lose to the tag team champs to keep it strong, you have to bring in the new champ and show that, hey, this is our house. We run this, and you're not going to just come in here and do whatever you want. So, they're just trying to keep NXT strong, and they need also just to get more views, more eyeballs on the product of NXT. So they got to bring
Bayley and Sasha.
So they're bringing main roster people back into NXT for either one shot or a couple of shots or whatever, just to hey, I'm watching SmackDown. They're gonna be NXT. Let me see this NXT stuff, and then whatever. So that's the way to do it. But they're trying to keep the black and gold brand, as they said a few times, strong as possible. So that's how you do it with those main roster guys coming down.
Now I would like to see what do you call it? Like a Seth Rollins show up on NXT.
Yeah, you should do it.
That. They're really pushing it to try to get those ratings wins because they'll pre-announce these things saying that Seth Rollins will be on NXT going up against so-and-so. Or, somebody else, Braun Strowman shows up or a lot of guys, a lot of different guys you could do this with. And it'll be interesting to see. It would be fun to see like a Raw or SmackDown Tag Team Champion versus the NXT Tag Team Champions. Maybe like do that once in a while.
That'd be cool. Yeah, like just even like North American title versus the United States Championship. I don't know, something like that. Just to throw in those extra because they have such a huge roster of guys, and then it'd be dumb for them not to throw them in there once in a while to get some eyeballs on NXT.
Because Io Shirai came on and ran through both of them. So
destroyed them. Maybe
it leads to Io Shirai versus Bayley at one point or later something like that. Versus champion. We could see that. But it's another thing where they're counter programming, where they're bringing main roster as supposedly main roster SmackDown Raw people down because they just announced that it could be the women's tag team titles could be defended on all three brands. Obviously, in an attempt to make these people come down to NXT and have these matches there to bring more people, like you said, to there because they see them on SmackDown, see them on Raw. Obviously, SmackDown and Raw get close to 2 million viewers a week, somewhere in that range. Whereas NXT and AEW get less than 1 million. They get like a little bit later, they get like 700,000, 600,000. So they want to bring those eyeballs down, guys. But you see, NXT is really trying. Seems like the war is at least on their side. AEW seems to be doing their own thing, having fun, chilling around, having a good time, getting stuff done. NXT really looks like and WWE look like they're really like kind of from behind, and they do not want to be behind. Even if it's their third brand, they don't want it to be behind anybody.
AEW is playing with house money. They got the billionaire backing behind them. The guys having fun. Everybody's having a good time. You can tell everybody's having a good time. And they're going to keep growing their product. And like they have plenty of time. It's not like they're just trying to become WWE tomorrow because it's not going to happen. It'll take years and years for AEW to reach the billion-dollar monster that is WWE. So they're doing a great job of just having fun, putting a fun product out once a week, twice a week with Dark, and we'll see where this all goes. But it's a war and it's getting heated. And this whole January and whole July 8th Fyter Fest thing, that's just saying, hey, get ready for a fight because it's coming.
AEW could have easily put Fyter Fest, even though they weren't going to make any money off it because it's not pay-per-view. It's supposed to be a free event. They could have put it on BR Live and did like a Saturday show like they did last year, even if it has no fans. They could have done that, but they decided to put it on 2 weeks of Dynamite. So, I guess WWE saw that as like, we got to come at them. So we're going to come at them that second night with a winner-take-all North American champion versus Adam Cole as the NXT champion. And, which any combination is going to be amazing because Finn versus Cole, Lee versus Cole, Gargano versus Cole, it's all going to be awesome. So we're just waiting for it, guys. But that's the video for today. 5 takeaways from the Wednesday Night Wars NXT versus AEW. Appreciate you guys for watching. Remember, for this work, you better not do the job.
Later, Marks.